Well, I guess it's about time I did this. This is not so much of an unboxing as it is a reveal, because I already took this box out of the box, and then I did some repairs and stuff on this box because it was kind of shelf worn and kind of beat up. But anyway, what we've got here is an original shipping box from McCulloch, and this was inside of it here. They didn't get it fit back in there, but that's I think an 18-inch bar, brand new, still in the box. We'll open this up and see what we got here. Here's the original paperwork with an Oregon file still in the file holder. Let's see if that's an Oregon file. Let's make sure it is before I say that. Yep, Oregon chain, Oregon file. What else we got here? Okay, McCulloch super pintail saw chain, brand new saw chain. Oh, and there's a tool. There's a chain. What else we got in here? Oh yeah, there's a side link, repair link, just one in the box. That looks like 3/8 inch chain. I have to measure it to be sure, but it looks like 3/8 to me. There's a chain, brand new out of the box. Actually, that's not a brand new chain. Oh, there goes another piece. Anyway, that's not a brand new chain. It's stamped SM. Oh, it is a McCulloch chain. It's got McCulloch brand stamped on it, but it's not brand new by any means. It's not a bad chain. It's been, and it is a pintail chain, what they call a pintail. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can see how the top plate on the tooth goes back past the tooth. Now, they had all kinds of explanations for why they did that, how it's supposed to cut better and things like that, but basically it was a way for them to try to get away from the patent, Oregon's patent on the chain. They got sued by Oregon on the chain and wound up losing a big lawsuit to Oregon on chain. Now that's never been used. There's no marks in that at all. What else we got here? Got 6 ounces of 40-to-1 2-cycle oil. And there's the second one. Now for the big hurrah here. Here we go. This is what we're looking for. It's a brand new, fresh out of the box, 60-year-old chainsaw. This is a McCulloch 740. The only wear on it is from sitting in the box on the shelf and being moved around for 60 years. I got the tag on it here. Now you tell this is a 740. Well, it says so on it, but this is the automatic oiler, and the 740 was the first one of the big saws to have an automatic oiler on it. The 176 was the previous version of this saw, and that had didn't have an automatic oiler. Now, they all still have thumb oiler here, and that always got a lot of use. My dad started using these saws when he was when they first came out, and his thumb was about that big around from using that oiler all the time. So anyway, there it is, brand new out of the box, McCulloch 740. I think that's 103 cc's. Acres says that came out in 1963, I believe. I think they come out a little bit later than that. I don't remember, but this is the first saw that I ran on my own. I've ran the 176 and the 170 and the 172 and other versions of the McCulloch saw as a boy, just off and on, cutting limbs or cutting a tree down once in a while with my dad's supervision. But this is the first one that I ran by myself. I don't remember what year it was. I think it might have been 1964 or 65. I think it must have been 65. Dad took the saw into the saw shop to have the carburetor rebuilt, have it worked on, and we were looking around in there. I say I was just a boy then. I was, 14 years old, and I was looking around in there, and they just come out with these little McCulloch 6s, the little Max 6s, and the little mini saws. And I tried to talk my dad into buying one of those. And I said, well, what would I want one of those for? And I said, well, so that we can help you in the woods, we can cut limbs and stuff like that. Well, I was up in the woods helping him, or going up in the woods one day to help him. He was working up out of Sandpoint, Idaho, in a place called McCormick Meadows. And we were getting pine and fir, but mostly what he was there for was a cedar. There was quite a few cedars that made cedar poles up there. And I would go up and down on the bulldozer and hook chokers and stuff. Anyway, one day we came up to the landing and got out. My dad got out of the truck and opened the back end of the pickup and said, all right, boy, here's your saw. And he handed me the 740 with a 48-inch bar. And he went and bought, I think it was a McCulloch 710 or CP70, I can't remember which. But anyway, he got that with a 36-inch bar to go up to cut the cedar and stuff, because he didn't need the big saw for that. But he gave me the little saw, or the big saw, the 740, to work on the landing with. And they would drag down, or we would drag down tree length red cedar poles, and a lot of them had big butts on them and were rotten. And it was my job to stand on the landing or sit on the landing with those trees and buck them up until we got up to solid wood to make a pole out of, because the pole couldn't have any rot in the middle of it, and then trim all the limbs up flush. And I actually used an axe and peeled the poles, because we got more money for them if they were peeled than if they came in with the bark on them. So we peeled them and trimmed all the limbs down flush with the bole of the tree, because when you trim them flush with the bark on them, the knots stick up above the bole of the tree. Once the bark comes off, the knots stick up above the tree once the bark comes off. So we'd trim the bark off of them and then go through and trim the poles up flush, and we'd make more money with them like that. So, and then I would cut the butt of the tree, long butt it, cut it up into chunks for shake bolts, and then I'd split those up into shake bolts. So anyway, this was the first saw that I used, that I was given, that was mine to use full time, was a 740, and that was in 1965. And then as that saw got to be worn, my dad would always trade them off instead of having them rebuilt and buy a new one. And he bought the 747, and then that 747 was my saw, unless he was working on a job where there was big timber or something. I went from the 740 to the 797. Anyway, this is it. This is my first saw. I saw this on eBay a couple months ago, and I was busy working. I couldn't put a bid in on it, and I had a maximum that I would bid on it. I figured it'd go way above that. Well, my wife waited and put a bid in on it at the last minute and wound up getting it. Anyway, that's my brand new out of the box saw, never been used, never had a bar on it or a chain on it, never had gas in it, and it even has the original box. I'm happy with that. Trying to figure out how to get it back in the box is a challenge. But that's it. I'll put that away till I find a place that I can display it properly.